How many have you forgiven today? Chapter 10, Part 2.
Hey, Anon. Psst.
Anon opens his eyes and is face to face with Pinky. He can't even find the strength to react anymore. He looks over to see that Blossom is still asleep, so he decides to keep quiet. What do you want, Pinky? Anon whispers.
Can you wear a fancy suit for dinner tonight?
A suit? I thought I was meeting a friend.
Please?
Pinky gives him her best puppy eyes. Anon lets out a quick snort. Fine. What time should I be ready?
Around 8.
Meet me at my store. Pinky nods enthusiastically.
I'll be there.
Pinky then looks down at Blossom.
Who's your friend?
Luna's captain.
Why is she—
Long story. Pinky smiles at him.
Okie dokie. I'll see you tonight.
Anon can feel Pinky shimmy down his body and off of the bed. Once he hears the door open and close, does he finally relax? Well, you're rather popular with the mares, Blossom says. Anon looks over to see Blossom with a smirk on her face while she rests. They're friends. She chuckles.
Yeah, friends. You ever notice that all your friends are mares?
So what? Blossom shrugs.
Just a thought.
Go to sleep.
Whatever you say, stud.
Celestia is covered from head to hoof in icing. It took her some time to build that cake fort, but it was well worth the time spent when she got to demolish it, one savory bite at a time. She probably shouldn't have started with the support beams first, but in the end, everything went well. She lets out a slight groan.
I need to get cleaned up.
Celestia gets up and walks over to her bathroom door. She feels a bit heavy, but nothing she can't digest in a few minutes. When she enters into the bathroom, she's surprised to see her nephew there. Not only that, but she notices that something is wrong with him. He's shaking in place while he sits in the bath. She walks over to his side.
Blue?
Celestia is now standing behind him.
Is everything alright? I've seen things, Auntie. Things I cannot unsee,
He says in his royal voice. She notices that Blue is looking off into infinity. She's quick to take him into her wings.
Tell me all about it.
He looks up to Celestia and gives a small nod.
It started when I ran into you, Luna, and Anon.
In the past,
I just can't decide.
Blueblood gives a snort as he walks towards the dining hall. He was in his room the entire time, contemplating what would be the best thing to wear. After all, it was a special occasion, yet he found that not a single thing he had fit the situation. So he decided to just forget the entire thing and go as is. While walking down the hall, he notices his auntie carrying Anon and Luna in her magic as she walks towards him.
Why aren't they in the dining hall?
Once they're close enough, he decides to ask.
Did I miss dinner?
Celestia looks down at Blueblood.
No, Blue. It seems that Anon here didn't hold his drink well, so I'm taking him to his room to change.
I told you to put me down. Anon groans. I get motion sick.
Regardless, we will be going to the fair soon. Would you care to join us?
Blueblood's eyes lit up.
Would I?
Celestia smiles at him.
Very well. It shouldn't take long for Anon to clean up.
Blueblood is excited as he follows his auntie towards Anon's room. Anon, Luna, Blueblood, and Celestia are now walking towards the fair.
It has been so long since I've been to a fair.
Celestia breaks the silence. Are they a regular thing here? Anon asks.
We hold one every year. It's the most popular event in Equestria. Ponies from all around gather to have fun.
What do they have there?
Many games and various unique foods that you can't find anywhere else.
Anon hopes that he can find some interesting meats. He is feeling a bit hungry after having thrown up all of his food. Any objection to hitting the food stands first? Anon asks.
I'm a bit hungry.
Luna answers.
So am I.
Blueblood adds. Celestia can also agree to that.
Very well.
Celestia walks off as the three of them follow after her. Once they're at the fair, Anon will admit that it looks rather nice. Reminds him of the fairs from his world, just with more livestock and fewer humans. Celestia is leading them past all the games and towards another area that has many tables about where ponies sit and eat. That's normal and all, but what he finds really interesting is a catbird creature sitting alone. What's that? Anon points at the creature. Celestia looks over at what he's pointing at.
Oh, that's a griffin.
What the hell? Anon whispers under his breath. He's read about these creatures before, but never has he actually seen one. Can I touch it?
Anon, that griffin is just like you or me. It's not an animal.
So that's a no? Celestia looks at him, then back at the griffin.
I guess that's for you and her to decide.
In Anon's not drunk part of his mind, he's contemplating how this is a good idea. The drunk part of his mind wants to pet something interesting, so with no self-control, he walks over to the griffin in question. Luna tries to follow after him, but Celestia uses a wing to block her.
Let him learn.
Luna looks at her sister, unsure if this is the right thing to do. She makes sure to keep a watchful eye just in case the worst should happen. Anon makes it over to the griffin without stumbling too much. He can tell that the griffin seems lost in her own thoughts. Hey!
Leave me alone.
The griffin responds without looking at him. Can I pet you? Anon asks, ignoring her previous words.
Pet me? What are you, drunk?
She freezes as she looks up at Anon. Drunk? Yeah.
What in Tartarus are you?
She asks. Human. Only one on this planet.
Really? So you're like an alien?
Anon nods. Yeah, I come from a different planet. She raises a skeptical brow.
Horse feathers.
Anon shrugs. It's true, but that is neither here nor there. Can I pet you? The griffin leans away slightly.
Why do you want to pet me?
You look soft. I like soft things. He leans down some and whispers into what he assumes is the griffin's ear. Don't tell anyone, but Celestia is super soft, like really squishy. Luna's surprisingly firm. I think it's from all of her years fighting. Not that I'm complaining. The griffin scoots away from Anon.
All right, crazy creature. If you don't mind, I think I'll be going now.
Anon quickly wraps his arms around the griffin and pulls her to his chest. Her back is pressed firmly against him. Just one pet.
No!
A quarter?
Wait, how does that even work?
How about I just smell you?
I'll give you to the count of 3!
Anon took that moment to start scratching between her shoulder blades. The catbird calmed down and Anon noticed an odd purring noise coming from her. He reaches to the front of her and scratches under her chin and neck. Anon hates to admit it, but when he was younger, he used to be a cat person. Dogs are superior, of course, but a cat, yeah, it's fine too. See, was this so bad? Anon asks.
Alright, that's far enough.
Anon is quickly pulled out of his seat by Celestia. She shakes her head in disappointment at him.
Really, Anon?
He shrugs. I regret nothing.
I'm really sorry about this, Miss Gilda. Terribly sorry, Gilda. I hope my friend here didn't cause you too much distress.
The catbird seemed to have regained her composure.
Whatever, just leave me alone. As you wish.
As Celestia walks away with Anon and the others in tow, Anon looks back to see the catbird looking at him in confusion. He smiles and waves at her, to which she quickly gives him a scowl and turns away. She was nice, Anon says.
Did you really have to grab her like that?
Luna asks. She looked like she needed a hug.
Well, since we're here, let's get something to eat.
Celestia adds.
Great.
Luna cheers as she runs over to a stand.
3 of your chocolate hayburgers.
Blueblood doesn't know what's going on, but he does know that he's hungry, and chocolate hayburgers sound interesting enough. Luna is currently vomiting into a trash can. Anon is patting her on her withers. Just let it out.
Ugh, I think those hamburgers weren't a smart choice.
She once again puts her head into the trash. Once she's done, Luna sits beside the trash can, breathing heavily.
I think I'm done.
Celestia shakes her head as she looks down to her nephew.
Do you mind watching your aunt for a bit?
Blueblood still has more than enough food that he wants to eat. He did miss dinner after all.
I don't mind. Thank you. Anon and I will be back.
Celestia grabs Anon's hand with her magic and pulls him away. Blueblood watches them leave for a few minutes before he turns to his various sweets and foods before him. There is so much for him to eat, he doesn't know which to choose. He weighs his options and decides to save the cotton candy for last.
Oh, I do love cotton candy, so I'll save that for tonight.
He says with a smile as he sets the candy off to the side.
How would you like a room full of it?
Luna asks in a drunken post-vomit stupor.
A room full?
That got Blue's attention. She nods.
Let me see if I can do this.
She shakily gets up from her seat next to the can and walks over to Blueblood's table. Taking her seat next to him, she readies herself to use a spell she once used when she was a filly. It doesn't take more than a second for her to cast her magic on the candy and look at Blueblood.
If you wait, it should get rather large. Just don't forget to eat it, okay? The magic will stop its growth when you start eating it.
He nods enthusiastically.
I won't forget, Auntie!
Luna has a small smile on her face as she rests her head onto the table.
I'm just gonna go rest for a bit. Wake me up when my sister comes back. You can count on me!
Luna gives him one nod before she closes her eyes. A few minutes should help her settle her stomach. Back in the present,
My sister used growth magic on your candy?
he nods, then looks a little bit embarrassed.
I brought the candy home and was so tired I fell asleep. Anon found me and...
His eyes get a far-off look.
well, he saved me. So, what's the matter? I don't want to talk about it.
Celestia decides not to push him.
Okay, do you know what happened after Anon and I left?
Blueblood shrugs.
I don't know. You two came back after a while, but I was so full and Luna was still sick, so we came back to the castle. I see.
Celestia wonders what could have happened. However, her thoughts soon fade as she notices that Blue still has some candy behind his ears. She smiles a bit as she enters the bath next to him.
Let me help clean you up.
He smiles at her.
Thank you, Auntie. No problem, Blue.
Dude, what an easy way to end world hunger, or well, help it. But clearly, it sucks a lot if you just forget about it. Anywho, let's get on to our caring donators. Top donators are 630, Chaitin Man, Darkside, Only One Thing, and Ceru Orion. Rayden, Narwhals, Blackmoonheart, Pastel Skies, Austin Rolan, Stu Hex, Sword Brethren, Mordred, Omicron Lyre, Will, Chris, Twinkie, Hadzaza, rightful, Iron Sky, Badass Waffle, Shadow Moon, Luigi88, and many more awesome people. Thank you all so much for watching this video and live life to the fullest.